Hi, 2nd grade friends. Miss Cody back to read more on the magic trap. So we're getting close to the end. I left off where the mom was back and kept asking where the dad was. Jesse and Evan finally told her that he left, and she had just discovered that. So I think she's realizing they were home alone during a Category 1 hurricane. So let's see what her thoughts are on that. "What do you mean?" asked their mother. "He just left." Their mother took a step back as if she'd been hit. Evan worried that she would retreat to the edge of the porch and maybe fall off. There was no railing to protect her. "When did he leave?" she asked slowly, as if these words were foreign and she wasn't quite sure of how to say those words. Jessie started to whine. "Mommy." Evan took 3 steps towards his mother. If she was going to fall, he wanted to be close enough to grab her and hold on. "He left Saturday morning, before the storm. He needed to catch a flight out. That's why you couldn't reach his cell phone. He was flying." "You've been alone?" Their mother started to cry. "You've been alone for 2 days. You were alone during the storm when the tree fell?" Tears fell down her cheeks, a slow, steady drip that made Evan think of the leaking ceiling during the storm. "Come here," said their mother, her voice a little stronger. "Come here." They ran up to her, careful to avoid the jagged hole in the porch floor, and even Jessie let herself be held by the arm. "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I never should have left you. I don't know what I was thinking." This made Evan mad. It wasn't his mom's fault. Why did she have to feel bad just for doing her job? "No, you should have gone," he said. "You had to go. We know that. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong." "And besides," said Jessie, "we did great. We did everything right. Evan and me, we patched up the hole in the wall, and we didn't open the refrigerator, and we emptied the buckets, and we kept the rain off the floor, and we did the magic show perfectly. And we even found Professor Hoffman. Well, I found Professor Hoffman. That was just me." Evan shook his head. Jessie always liked to get extra credit, but she made their mom laugh. So inside his head, Evan said, "Good job, Jess." And then he thought that she was right. They did do a good job. With all the worry and chaos and destruction, he had lost sight of that accomplishment. "But Mom," said Jessie in her matter-of-fact voice, "why does Dad always leave us?" Their mom sat down on the porch as if her legs couldn't hold her weight any longer. Evan and Jessie sat down right next to her, one on each side. Evan held his breath, waiting to hear what she would say. He had been waiting a long time to hear the answer to that question. "Your dad loves you guys very much, and he's a good man. He's smart and generous and fun and tough." Mrs. Tresky looked beyond the porch and into the woods as if the words she was searching for were hidden among the trees. "But some people, some very good people, just aren't meant to be parents. They're not so good at it. That doesn't make them bad, and you can still love them, but it's something you need to know and understand, so you can protect yourself just like you did during the storm. You took good care of yourselves and each other. You're the best kids in the whole world, and I'm the luckiest mom on the planet." Evan let his mother's words sink in. Then he smiled for what felt like the first time all week. He had been hoping that things were going to be different this time, but they weren't. His dad was Dad. The sooner he accepted that, the better off he would be. Still, he didn't want to hate his father. His dad was a part of him, and hating him was like hating a part of himself. Jessie shook her head solemnly. "I wouldn't say you're the luckiest mom on the planet. Not until you look inside the house." Her mom groaned. "How bad is it?" "Wait, don't tell me. Let's just go look." Jessie and their mom went inside, but Evan stayed in the yard. He wandered over to the climbing tree and rested his hand on its trunk, and then he bowed his head until his forehead was touching the rough, damp bark, and he whispered, Later that afternoon, after Mrs. Tresky had seen all the damage and then double-checked their insurance policy to make sure they were really covered for hurricanes and flooding, Evan and Jessie had a meeting in Evan's room. When they went downstairs, they found their mother sitting on the kitchen table starting to figure out how to fix the porch. Insurance wasn't going to pay for that. She had a notebook full of scribbling numbers. "How much will it cost?" asked Jessie. She was standing next to her mother with both hands behind her back. Her stomach felt excited, but in a good way. "A lot," said Mrs. Tresky. "But how much, exactly?" Mrs. Tresky shook her head. "I don't know. Pete said he'd drive down and take a look at it." "Pete?" shouted Evan. It had been 5 months since he had seen Pete. "We can do it, me and Pete together. You won't have to hire anyone." A huge grin broke out on Evan's face. "It's still going to cost a lot." "But how much?" asked Jessie, looking at Evan. He looked back at her, and his grin grew even wider. I don't know. More than $127? Mrs. Tresky looked at her, raising one eyebrow. "Why do you ask that?" Jessie pulled both hands from behind her back and held them out for her mother to see. They were filled with dollar bills. "We made $127 at the magic show today, and we want you to have it. All of it." That last word was hard for Jessie. It had been Evan's idea to give the magic show money to their mother, but Jessie had agreed. Still, it was a struggle for her to give up every last penny. Mrs. Tresky smiled. "This is really nice of you, but we think there should have been $128, since the tickets were $2 apiece, which means the total shouldn't be an odd number, but maybe someone just paid $1 instead." Jessie scowled. She didn't like it when there were math errors, or when someone didn't follow the rules and pay the right amount. "Probably Scott Spencer, I bet." She crossed her arms. "Well, we don't have any evidence, so I guess we just don't know for sure." "Anyway," said Evan, "we want you to have the money. We know it's not enough, but it's something, right?" "Are you kidding? It's huge," said Mrs. Tresky, "but I don't want to take your money. You work so hard." "But we're Treskys. And Treskys—" Jessie stopped. Somehow she couldn't quite bring herself to say what her dad always said. It didn't feel right. Instead she said, "Treskys stick together." "Yeah," said Evan. "Like you always say, family comes first." "Thank you both," said Mrs. Tresky. She gave Evan a huge smile and hug, and put her hand on Jessie's head, then took the money and put it in an envelope with her pages of calculation. "This makes a big difference," she said before going upstairs. That made Jessie feel better. But it was still hard to lose all that money. She wondered if she would ever be able to open her own bank account. She turned to look at Evan, who had pulled a quarter from his pocket and was making it dance across his knuckles. The flashing coin made Jessie think of something. "Hey, Evan," she said, "I've got an idea." Evan looked at his sister. Jessie planted her feet and put her hands on her hips. "It's hot outside, right?" "Yes, so we could have—" Evan flipped the quarter into the air, and Jessie caught it as it fell. "A lemonade stand," they both said together. The end. I hope you enjoyed our last book of the Lemonade War series. I think they were all amazing. It's hard to see it come to an end because I know you've enjoyed it and I've absolutely loved it. So if you want, and if it's a good fit for you, if you can find them online, maybe you have some at home, but you can always read the Lemonade War series. They're a great series yourself. You can read them. I hope you've enjoyed them. We'll have to see what the next chapter book will be. Bye.